Okay, guys. Today we will be going over three different areas here. We'll be going over again the gatekeeping of these healers and gurus and leaders and all these virtue signaling people who convince themselves that they're going to save people and all that bullshit. We'll be going over that, and then something else, and then I'm finally touching on money. I'll finally be touching on money, and I might be doing a video sometime here soon, if not today, on just the concept of money itself. And I've been wanting to get this across. It's one of those things that have been stuck in my head that I haven't had the clarity there to be able to articulate it, but responding to this person's comment this morning, I was finally able to start articulating and getting these things out of my head in a sensible manner where other people can hopefully understand and see what I'm trying to say and how this all ties back to the construct of the matrix, which its job is to keep us on the hamster wheel and our attention focused on everything outside of ourselves. That way we are willingly consenting to giving away our power, our birthright, our innate wholeness. Okay, so this should be a pretty good video. Hopefully a lot of information on here. I responded to this comment this morning, and again it opened up a lot of things for me that have been locked inside that I just haven't been able to find the words to convey or transfer the information to others. But I think I'm starting to get this. I'm starting to connect the thoughts, words, and thereby actions. That sound you guys hear is my my water pot on top of my wood stove. Okay, so this is from Vitality and Valerie is the username. Vitality and Valerie is is this person's username handle, and she left this comment on the video Fundamental Foundation for Freedom series, the introduction. So I'm going to read her comment. I'll read my reply, and then as I go into my reply, I will, expound upon things as it hits me. She says, "This is spot on. There is an online healing program I am looking into. Costs $100 a month, which is somewhat of a red flag for me, called Primal Trust. All the trauma in my life plus severe toxin exposure caused me to develop a complex chronic illness at age 40. And I will point out there, that is a sign of introspection. I mean, to understand that this complex chronic illness at the age that developed at the age of 40 was onset from the trauma in her life plus severe toxin exposure is an important step in introspection and coming to terms with things and recognizing and accepting things for what they are. Unfortunately, most people get stuck in going to the doctors, and the doctor says, you just need a pill for that, and then hand them a pill or, whatever else. So that's already a step in the right direction, is being able to recognize and accept that. Now, where a lot of people get stuck, and I got stuck at for a long time, was in all these healing modalities. Again, looking outside of yourself for the answers, thinking that you need physical modalities and all of these things, to heal. Again, on our journeys, guys, we all have certain specific issues that we need to address. And there's crutches, it's fine to use a crutch. It's fine to use these modalities, but you have to recognize them as such. You cannot just, start doing yoga and all of a sudden all of your pain go away and everything feels great and you feel so much better. And then you're addicted to yoga and you're preaching everybody how yoga is the answer. That is the slippery slope to slavery. That is a belief and faith concept that you're putting all your belief and faith into this practice called yoga, and then now worshiping it by giving it all your attention and your focus and your energy, and then not only that, but then telling everybody else, hey, yoga's the answer, yoga's the answer. Exactly, you know what I mean? And then, a lot of people will get so inspired by that bullshit that they become yoga teachers. And then now what are they doing? They're making money teaching people a healing modality that is nothing but a distraction. Okay, it works, guys. These things work. All healing modalities work. All of them work. Every single one of these healing modalities work. But they are nothing but a crutch to us recognizing and accepting that we've been bamboozled across the board into not trusting in ourselves and giving up our innate wholeness. And that is the broken leg. Okay? All these healing modalities are all band-aids. The way to fix the broken leg is to recognize and accept that the fundamental foundations for freedom video series goes over exactly the structure that's needed in order to reclaim your essence, reclaim your authenticity, reclaim your wholeness, reclaim your birthright, become who you were born to be. That is the only way. You're not going to do it through making money. You're not going to do it through healing modalities. You're not going to do it by putting your attention, trust, faith, belief into anything other than yourself. Primal trust is designed to address the trauma so the body can heal itself. Brain training plus somatic work plus nervous system vagal nerve regulation. Yes, I mean, of course, and all of these things are common sense. Once you get deep into these things, you realize, well, yeah, you got to have an alignment, you got to clear out the blockages, you got to do all these things. But there are different ways to go about doing these things. Now, there are stretches. You can do just common stretches, guys, and get all of these things worked out of you. You can go on a whole foods diet. You can fast. You can do a juicing diet, and all of these things combined with stretching and movement and light movement exercises will get all of these things and do everything anybody's trying to sell you of repackaged. All of these things are just repackaged horse shit, sideshow circus acts that these cocksuckers just keep on repackaging and selling as ooh, we got the answer. Ooh, we got the newest thing on the market. Ooh, check this out. It's all horseshit. It's all part of the manipulation. It's all part of the illusion. It's all part of the distraction. It's all part of the sideshow. It's all part of the hamster wheel. It's all part of the enslavement. Anything outside of yourself. This whole healing journey to become whole means to reclaim your essence, that you were innately born whole, needing nothing but a safe space from your parents to develop physically. That was it. And until you recognize and accept that bare minimum foundational truth, you are spinning the wheels on this circus ship. All of this, like I said, you got to get down to the root fundamentals of these things. If you are intaking toxins and poisons through cooked food, processed food, fast food, anything chemical, anything not natural, anything fucking animal flesh, okay? Any of that, other than whole, raw foods, juices, and fasting, you are intaking a gigantic, enormous amount of poisons and toxins into your mouth. Cooked food is nothing but dead nutrition, period. I don't care what anybody else tries to sell you or say or whatever else. It is dead nutrition. When you heat anything up, it kills everything within that. Not only that, but they've done the experiment. This was goddamn forever ago, guys. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. This is all repackaged hamster wheel bullshit. Confusion is what I live in, right? It's all confusion. It's all to keep you wrapped up in jumping from fucking rabbit hole of knowledge to rabbit hole of knowledge to rabbit hole of answers to rabbit hole of answers, and you will literally get stuck in each rabbit hole for years, for decades. It doesn't matter. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. The Matrix doesn't care. It doesn't care all the knowledge that you get as seeking outside yourself. What the Matrix is afraid of, the way you break this Matrix system, the way you break your chains of enslavement, is to recognize and trust in yourself, is to turn your whole attention, energy, and focus onto yourself and away from everything outside yourself. That is what the Matrix fears. That is the only thing the Matrix fears. It did this, all this controlled opposition that this so-called these truther channels say, oh, my channel's being suppressed. Oh, they're hiding this information. All that Alex Jones horse shit and all that bullshit, all that spiritual bullshit. Guys, it's all distraction. The Matrix, you see, they're getting ready to do a reset, guys. And what they're doing, what I see that happens right before a reset is the Matrix has to let everything out. Everything that's been suppressed, right? Everything that's been hard, all this information that's been hard to get to. All of it's being released right now. And the intention of that is to keep, it's a purposeful intention to keep you confused and fucking busy and going, and looking outside of yourself and jumping from rabbit hole to 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 rabbit hole, to think that you're doing something with this self-serving virtue signaling of knowledge seeking. It's all an illusion. It's all a veil. It's all manipulation to keep you busy in the last few years or whatever it is until this place gets reset, like a huge reset. And it's coming, but guys, it's fucking coming. It's right around the goddamn corner for humanity. Another fucking reset. And what they want to do is keep you, because this is what I'm seeing, okay? Now, I can't say this is 100% the truth. It's just this is what I'm living by. This is how I'm approaching everything, because this is what I'm finding at the nitty-gritty bare bottom of the foundation of this whole shit system, is that, you know, I even still go outside myself to find things. Occasionally, rarely anymore. I mean, in the past month, I have pulled away literally from everything because this is becoming so clear to me. And what I'm doing is I'm aligning my thoughts, words, and actions. And man, the clarity I'm gaining by pulling away and quitting participating and watching all of these other yahoos that supposedly have the answers is absolutely amazing. It is falling back. It would like the trust fall into yourself and jumping into the abyss and just accepting the dark and just turning off all these physical senses and accepting the so-called fear and anxiety and facing it, and then trusting yourself, trusting that intuition, trusting that blindness. Guys, that's where it's at. That's where the power's at. I'm telling you right now, all this other shit is nothing but distraction and horseshit. It's to keep you so occupied and busy. Okay, so this is, sorry, I keep on cutting off because there's a lot, man, there's a lot I've been trying to get out of my head that's finally able to start flowing through this articulation. So I see the answer being to break free from this reincarnation trap, to break free from this continual recycling back here to feed this energy system, is to recognize that birthright, that we need nothing outside ourselves. We are completely accepting that we are whole, that we are completely trustworthy, that we have no sin, there's no sin in us, that all this stuff's a construct, it's all a program, and just accepting that trust fall and living in that abyss. And that is where our freedom comes. And I think that is, from what I can see so far, everything leads to that. It's like everything is leading to that is where our freedom is going to come. That is where our freedom from this matrix system is going to come. And that is it. Because everything else that I see is attached in some way. It goes back and is connected into this matrix. And it's all a part of the program and the distraction manipulation. Okay. Brain training plus somatic work plus nervous system vagal nerve regulation. I think many people cannot access the powers of their mind and their innate healing intelligence because their nervous system and possibly every cell of their body is so traumatized, stuck in survival mode, gone haywire. Yes, yes, and see, and it's also everything is clogged up. It's clogged up with confusion. It's clogged up with toxins. It's clogged up with all of this stuff. That's why you have to quit ingesting this poison through your ears, whether it's music you're listening to or the YouTube stations you listen to or the news or the celebrities or the sports, rigged sports or any of that. That's why all that's got to go. You got to quit intaking that toxins through your ears. Then you got to quit intaking the toxins through your eyes, the entertainment and the, whatever you're intaking through your eyes, and then through your nose. If you're using heavy perfumes, if you're using heavy lotions, if you're using fragrances, you got to cut off all of that attachment, and then you got to quit intaking those poisons through your mouth. And then once you stop toxifying, you can start detoxifying. And then when you start detoxifying and then doing these movements and these light stretches, guys, it is so easy. You start working these things out, and the cognitive dissonance comes and everything, and then you deal with every idea, every thought, anything that crosses your mind. You address it and you face it, and you live in the darkness, and you fucking just sit there with your sword and you just crush and slay all these cocksuckers, and you take care of your issues, and you can do it. That is the display of courage that is necessary to build your confidence and your trust in yourself. And that is the action that needs to be taken. But every time you go outside yourself to look for answers and for healing modalities and giving this authority over to these things and giving this worship and all this credence over to them and being like, oh, it's the answer. What you are doing is you are telling yourself innately that you are not enough. And that's fine if you need these crutches to help you start walking again. That's fine. But recognize them for what they are, a crutch. And as soon as that leg is healed enough to where you can hobble without that crutch, throw that crutch out like it never existed and move on. And Valerie, I don't know if this is the first time you've heard me doing a response video to somebody's comment, but again, this isn't I'm not addressing you like aggressively or anything. I appreciate these comments you guys leave because they her comment allowed me to get into so much deeper introspection and break things down even more to be able to articulate. These are things that I've been trying to articulate that have been stuck in here. And it drives you crazy because you're like, oh, I want to get it out, but I can't. So this isn't towards you directly, and I'm not assuming that that these are areas you're coming from. But what I'm trying to say by us sharing, like you guys sharing your comments, and then me being able to expound on these things, allows me to hit all these different perspectives where people can see what you're saying and then justify in their own way why they would. Why they think, yes, that's right. You need to do this. You have to do that. Yeah, you got to learn how to clear the vagus nerve and how to align the body. Yeah, so I'm able to confront and expound upon and put light on the fact that these people are justifying and reasoning, not even reasoning. Reasoning takes the faculty of your mind. They're not even using the reasoning. They're justifying and excusing their behaviors, actions, and thoughts in their programming instead of critically thinking and using their reasoning. And now that keeps them stuck on the hamster wheel. And then what do? They have to make themselves feel like they're right. So they go out there and blab their mouth to everybody. Oh, yes, you have to do this. Oh, yes, you got to do this. And then that just reaffirms in them, because then they get feedback and they say, oh, thank you so much for telling me this. I didn't know this knowledge. Thank you. And then it just reaffirms the whole and keeps everybody entrapped in 30 different ways for 30 different reasons in this goddamn shit. So, we have to share. We have to have these open conversations. We can't be afraid of our feelings getting hurt. We can't take things personal like, oh, is he talking to me so rough? No, this is how I talk to myself. This is my own discipline. This is how I fucking talk to myself. I'm like, look, motherfucker, you better get your goddamn shit straight and pull your head out of your ass and quit making excuses and justifying everything and fucking, critically think and do deep introspection, get down to the root and fucking figure these things out and quit fucking playing these goddamn games. That's how I talk to myself. That's the only way I've been able to be disciplined and take personal responsibility, is about like being on my shit, not in an abusive way, but not allowing myself to make these excuses and then be like, oh, Richard, yes, it's okay. It's okay. Yes, you're okay, Richard. You do what you gotta do. You're just a special little snowflake, aren't you? No, I will never fucking do that. No, that's not going to happen. And nobody else should be doing that to themselves, because you are literally keeping that is your ego going, oh, just relax. We'll have another, let's just enjoy this life. It's almost over anyways. Just enjoy this life. Everything's so stressful. Next life, when we come back, we'll be born into a better family and things will be easier for us and we'll figure it out then. Right? That's the ego. And the ego is hell-bent on self-destruction, instant gratification, and loves the matrix, because that's the only way it was created. The matrix and the ego exist hand in hand. The ego is a player, a character in the matrix. The matrix created each one of us and forced this character called the ego into us at birth, and then fed that thing, because that is the thing that keeps us separated from our soul. That is the thing that we fight. That is the inner fight that we have between our soul and the ego and all of our alter egos that want to take the driver's seat of this physical avatar. It is the soul's responsibility to reclaim and fucking crush that goddamn son of a bitch called the ego, that fake false self, and fucking take the reins and do the hard work, fix this fucking avatar that the ego has destroyed for 40 fucking years on purpose, and get rid of all the fucking mind shit, all the programming of self-destruction and justifying and excuses, and start critically thinking and using reasoning, imagination, intuition, and all the other faculties of the mind again. She says, you have inspired me. I am considering taking the info I learned, translating it in my own way, and sharing it for free online. There are other ways to make money other than gatekeeping healing methods. Yes, and that is the lowest of the low. People who fucking learn the knowledge and then go out there and try to fucking charge for their services are fucking disgusting human beings, virtue signaling, egotistical cocksuckers who are gatekeeping the fucking information. That's all they're doing, and they're perpetuating and propagating the systems of enslavement by doing these things for a fake currency called money that is all part of this horseshit system. Guys, the whole purpose of us healing in this journey is to break free from the whole money trap. Money is an illusion that's set up that is an exchange unit that you have to earn, that you have to show you're worthy enough to have, and then they make you think you have to have it for things that they make you think you need, like shelter and heat and cold and processed foods and all of this entertainment and all the horse shit. It's all a part of the illusion, and it's coming to terms. What is the very first step besides learning and what abuse means, and realizing that all of this is systems of abuse, because by definition, abuse means misuse, and it's all everything we're talking about here in the matrix with money and healing. It's all misuse of the human biological avatar and a mistreatment of the soul. Okay. And then the very first step is recognizing and accepting the pervasiveness of all of these systems of control, and the pervasiveness of our justification and excuses, and our refusing to face what is. You have to take that first step. And most people can't. Most people cannot. They say they can. A lot of these people right now on this healing journey, it goes, oh yeah, I recognize and accept it. I see it. It's all matrix. It's all this. It's all that. It's all. But then they refuse and they just double down and say, well, you have to have a house. Well, you have to eat. Well, you have to go to a job, right? And they just do everything they have to reinforce that programming instead of recognizing and accepting things for what they are and coming to terms with it. And, instead of saying, oh, okay, well, I see how having a house requires money, requires a job, requires all my time, attention, and energy, which is everything that I have that I should be focused on me because that's my innate being. And okay, well, how do I slowly go about detaching from this? No, people automatically refuse because just going and telling them that, cognitive dissonance, you gotta have a house. He's crazy. Don't listen to him. He's gonna kill you and himself because he thinks you don't need to eat. And they just are so stuck in their bullshit programming, in their false programming, that they can't even see the fucking forest for the trees, right? Okay, so this is my reply to her. I said, we are capable and able to heal ourselves. We were programmed to seek answers outside of ourselves. That is the main program. Programmed to seek answers outside ourselves. We were programmed to think we are inadequate, know nothing, and need to attain knowledge from an outside source. This is the hamster wheel of enslavement. This is the never-ending virtue signaling of knowledge seeking. Again, going back to all these goddamn healers, so-called healers, and everybody doing this shit for money and ego and self-satisfaction gratification and all virtue signaling, all this shit, man. They're all they I don't care how great they seem. I don't care how many testimonies of people they healed, like Joe Dispenza healing, thousands of people in his workshops and doing all this good. The dude has so much money. He is so locked into this matrix system with all his money and his possessions and his ego and all of that shit. He is not healing anybody. He might be healing people, showing people a way to heal from physical ailments, but he is not addressing the root issues. He hasn't even addressed the root issues in himself. Healed people heal people. These broken people do nothing but virtue signal and keep people on the hamster wheel of slavery. They gatekeep, period. It's as simple as that. This is the hamster wheel of enslavement. This is the never-ending virtue signaling of knowledge seeking. We have never trusted ourselves a day in our lives. Why would we? This ego has done nothing but seek instant gratification, status, material pleasure, etc. The ego is a character built by the matrix for self-destruction. It is a reactionary mindset. It does not think critically. It is a reactionary. It runs off the programming installed, imbued, and propagandized into it by the matrix on a purpose, for the purpose of keeping you in the slave mind box within a very thin set of parameters that you're allowed to operate within. There is no such thing as critical thinking in the ego world. The ego claims to think critically, but it only the critical thinking it does is just whatever things have been fed to it of the knowledge of the matrix, and then it thinks throughout those things and it comes to a conclusion. It does not think outside the box. It does not think for itself. It does not think anything. Everything that it comes to conclusions has to do and reinforce the matrix illusion system, the consumerist, the materialist, the whatever, to keep it enslaved, needing things outside of itself. The only thinking or action the ego takes is what the matrix has wrapped up and given to it in a gift-wrapped box. It is only able to operate and choose within the parameters of the mind-slave box. The matrix doesn't care what choices or actions we take to heal or otherwise, as long as we don't dare tread outside the program parameters of the mind slave box. Again, that the reset's coming within the next few years, most likely. The reset's going to be here. You're not even going to be here. Okay, I'm not even going to be here. This whole thing, the reason that all of this information is being released is to keep you busy doing everything but turning your attention, focus, and energy on yourself and detaching from all this stuff. Everybody is coming out of the woodwork with all of this information, not superfluous horse shit to keep you distracted, entertained, confused, and rabbit hole and knowledge seeking and rabbit hole jumping until the reset, until you pass, until all your energy is used up. Because see, what happens is by you guys feeding into all this knowledge seeking and all of this horse shit and rabbit hole jumping, that's the energy that feeds into the matrix, that it goes right. That's, you guys are, by doing that, anything outside of yourself where your attention is going is feeding the matrix, period. It's that simple. All the information in the course you refer to can be found for free perusing YouTube. It's all there. So, the course, whatever primal bullshit she was referring to, it's all of that can be found on YouTube. All of it. You can find all this information for free. All the information's out there for free. You don't need to buy any courses. These people are literally just packaging all of this free information into these pretty little packages and then going, ooh. And then we are subconsciously give more value to something if we have to pay for it than if it's free. So that is a huge scam, a huge scheme. That's how they sell all of this horse shit. The point of healing, the definition, in fact, is to become whole. How will that be accomplished if we can't trust ourselves? It can't. That is one of the fundamental foundation things of being whole, is trusting ourselves. And 99.99999% of us have never trusted ourselves a day in our lives. That is why on the healing journey, one of your main focuses, if not the main focus, is to learn and to remember and to prove and act in ways that build that trust, that confidence in yourself. Because everything else is just, showing that you're inadequate, you're ineffective, you just don't know, you don't have it, you desire, you have fear, lack, worry, you need, right? That kind of putting effort and action into our healing is nothing but virtue signaling and reinforcing the programming that we are untrustworthy and inadequate until we put in the work or do our due diligence, etc. It's all part of the illusion that keeps us on the hamster wheel. It is all treating symptoms and not the problem. It's continuing to put band-aids on broken legs. To heal, become whole, requires us to be our own private investigator and get to the root of the issue. Why don't we trust ourselves? Why do we always feel inadequate, guilty, inferior, oppressed? We are so used to being handed gift-wrapped solutions and having magic pills or easy answers. This true healing is the only real change, and it requires us to trust ourselves. That is a foundational fundamental. It is a complete deprogramming and reassessing of everything we have been programmed to believe. Everything. All we know is manipulation, illusion, and confusion. We must be dedicated to true healing and take personal responsibility, be disciplined, display courage, and only crave truth. Enough with the surface level truth of the circus show that peddles its repackaged narrative of what healing is. That crap is meant to confuse, obfuscate, and ensure we stay in the mind slave box. All of it. All of it, guys. And, I've already come to the conclusion that somebody else out there is watching my channel right now that's probably creating their own course out of my channel. They're probably out of all the information that I provide, and especially this Fundamental Foundations of Freedom video series and all of these videos I've been doing recently over the past month, they're probably creating their own course that they're going to repackage and sell. I don't care. And that is a work of trusting in myself, and freedom from this matrix for me is knowing that and not giving two fucking shits about it, because I feel sorry for that person or persons, because you know what? They are just entrapping themselves, enslaving themselves even deeper, and chaining themselves even tighter to this fucking hellhole, and they are perpetuating and propagating it onto other people. For me, it's an even more freeing thing for me as an action to be courageous and be disciplined and take that personal responsibility, as in I know I have to get this information out there to, even if it's only 15 other people that are benefiting as individuals and finding their way to actually break free from these chains. It is worth it to me to get it out there for free, as opposed to charging for a fucking course. Because I'm not teaching you guys anything. I am just opening up the gateways of your mind that have been fucking locked. That's all I'm doing. That's all I've done for myself, is through my own introspection and deep work and deep fucking being a forensic psychologist on myself, fucking taking it down to the root of everything and being courageous and honest and open. That's it. And that is my humanity. I am reclaiming what it means to be human by doing this. So, and then to do this and know that somebody else is going to steal it, repackage it, and sell it, and become a millionaire off of it, that is an awesome thing for me, because that is just another thing that shows that I trust myself. That I am taking the action, taking the steps necessary. I am detaching from all of this superfluous bullshit, all of this manipulation and illusion. It doesn't have a hold on me anymore. I'm losing all sense of fear, necessity for safety, the illusion of needing things outside of myself. I'm getting rid of it. I'm reclaiming my birthright by doing this. Money is an illusion. Playing the money game feeds into the system. How that should be approached is by realizing that we need money to afford our addictions and supply the safety from our fears. Now that we recognize that we have lack, we can figure out how to deprogram from that and detach from the need for money. I have been working towards slowly eliminating all my bills and money expenditure, and through the healing, realizing that one day I will no longer need any of these things I've been programmed to need. Exactly, just like I said. I mean, the need for a house, the need for the security of a fridge, and for a week's worth of processed food in my house, and for, heat in the wintertime and cold in the summertime, and all of these fucking illusions, guys. It's all illusion. It's in facing the first step of healing is recognizing and accepting first that it's all abuse. It's a misuse of the human biological system to chain itself to the necessity for a fake currency, for a fake illusion of safety and necessity outside of ourselves. And then to recognize and accept things for what they are, that this was all programmed. Why do I even think I need these things? Oh, because my parents and my whole peer group and everybody and everything around me and that I've ever heard and been indoctrinated with tells me that these things are necessary. Pretty sketch, isn't it? Pretty fucking sketch that everything reinforces that thought process. Let me really deeply introspect this and see if this is necessary. So then I put myself in this position of, well, what if I grew up with parents who lived out in the woods with nothing? And well, then I would just automatically assume that you need nothing because I wouldn't have all of this. So don't you see how that program is instilled in you, and that fear and that desire and that worry and that lack is instilled and programmed into you? It's so simple. It's basic programming. And you just have to have the fucking balls to fucking recognize and accept it. The very first goddamn step in this whole process of healing. There is lot to go into just in this aspect, but if we are of the mindset that we need money and all the things it affords, then we are keeping ourselves willingly enslaved to a fake currency, an illusion, a game, something that again must be attained and only reinforces the programming of fear, lack, and desire. It fuels the drama programming of lack, desire, worry, fear, loss, gain, etc. We must detach from these things to be free of the chains that bind us. We will never reclaim our birthright by clinging to all these material illusions. It's one or the other. You can't cling to both. You're holding on to both, but they're both going in opposite directions, and it's going to pull you apart. And you're going to have to make a choice. You can't fence it. You can't play bat for both teams. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't cling on to left and right, east and west, and while they're going opposite directions, think you're just the rubber band man and you can just stretch all over the place. You can't have both. You can't serve two masters because what does it say in the Bible? You can't serve two masters because a man cannot serve two masters because he will either love the one and hate the other, be faithful to the one and despise the other. It's impossible. It's a conflict that, and that whole saying is just, it speaks of that inner conflict of getting ready. What did Jesus say to all these people? He told the rich man, you want the answers? Because the rich man came to him, he said, Master, please, show me the way. I want to know the way, whatever it takes. And Jesus said, okay, motherfucker, you want it? You want the way? Get rid of all your material possessions, give everything up, get rid of all your attachments, and come and follow me. That motherfucker looked at him and said, hey, man, good meeting you. And went right back to his shit. That whole Jesus story is a very deep story, guys, of how we are supposed to live, not attached to this world. And you motherfuckers that want to try to say that Jesus ate, food, it never shows that Jesus ate any food in the Bible. He broke bread as a sacrament, and again, that was a play on words. What do they call that? A play on words. Where you tell a story like a parable to try to give a deeper meaning, right? But the breads and loaves and fishes that he transpired, that wasn't for him. He didn't partake it. That was for the people because they thought they needed that to survive, right? So the whole Jesus story, if you really look deep into it, in the whole Bible story, that part of the Bible story is all about is about this journey I'm talking about. The true healing that I'm talking about is detaching from all these necessities from outside of you and these illusions and these attachments that we have to other toxic people who are downloaded on the program, and other toxic ideas that are all downloaded into the program, and other toxic things in this fear, lack, desire, worry. It's all an illusion. It's all part of the devil. It's all part of the bullshit. The freedom, the salvation that we seek is within us. That is the whole Jesus story. We are Jesus. We are God. We are our own Savior, and we have to recognize it. It is that fucking simple. But it's that hard. By clinging and justifying our position and not recognizing and accepting for what it is, we are voluntarily consenting to our enslavement and thereby willingly, moment by moment, exchanging our birthright for the illusion of safety, comfort, necessities, etc. This is all confusing, paradoxical mind games that cause so much cognitive dissonance that the slave absolutely refuses to accept that he has been agreeing to his own enslavement this whole time. Because that is just that breaks people, that breaks the reality, and they can't deal with that. And that because they're not being courageous, they're not grabbing their balls, no matter what they say, it's all mouth work. They say one thing and they do another. They're hypocrites. Most would not even allow this idea a moment of reflection in his head, as the cognitive dissonance it would create would make his brain hurt and his eyeballs pop out. Yeah, because it creates cognitive dissonance. Because they say they're willing to detach. They say they aren't giving value to the money. They say they aren't giving value to material things. They say they aren't giving value to these attachments, to these toxic ass fucking mindless minions and slave-minded zombies that are downloaded into the program. But they are 100% still attached. Just because they say one thing, all you have to do is look at their actions. They are still behaving in these ways. They are still participating in these systems. They are doing nothing to take the steps to detach. They have no desire, no will, no nothing to detach. They are 100% grounded in this system. And for them to even consider giving up all this shit completely wrecks the reality, which brings out that cognitive dissonance and about short circuits their fucking brain. And they can't handle that. So what do they have to do? They got to double down. He's just crazy. Don't listen to him. He'll tell you to get rid of your house and all your material possessions. And they're just stupid. They're ignorant. They are slave-minded zombies. They are mindless minions that can only react and work within the parameters of the mind slave box that was given to them at birth by this matrix. We had our birthright stolen upon our entrance into this world, and in place given a set of programs that would ensure that once we came of age, we would voluntarily consent to remain a slave chained to the illusion and deny ourselves what was rightfully ours. Thanks for your engagement, as it has assisted me in being able to start articulating these things in a sensible manner, as they have been stuck in my head with no avenue to get out. I think I will be doing a video on this as I have gained clarity and confidence in this reply. Best wishes on your journey. So again, before we get out of this video, guys, a lot is coming out now. This is really putting I'm pointing the finger to everybody. Point the finger at yourself. I do this to myself. This is the only way I heal, is by pointing to myself. Quit pointing, ooh, it's his fault, it's her fault, it's my mom's fault, ooh, it's my abuse fault, it's my trauma fault, it's my childhood abuse fault, I can't help it. No, it's pointing at myself. It's pointing at myself and saying, no, motherfucker, you're a grown-ass man. You are, the only reason you're in this shit is because of every decision you've made up till now. Now, how do we change this shit? We start making the proper decisions one by one and changing this shit, breaking the programs, breaking free from the things that bind you down, figuring out how to kill these parasites that it control and fucking infest you, getting rid of them, flushing them out of your system, doing what you have to do, taking personal responsibility, being disciplined, being courageous, being honest, sharing, being open, being a human. And so, guys, you need to share. You need to expound upon. You need to face this shit. You need to be courageous and take the steps necessary. Otherwise, turn this shit off. Don't even listen to it. You're creating cognitive dissonance in your head. And if somehow you're able to bamboozle yourself and still know that you're clinging on constantly and you have no desire to give up all this shit, and you live to acquire shit, and you live for the illusion of safety, and you just want peace and love, that's all I want, peace and love, and that's what you're going around bantering about and propagating, then you're just a mind-controlled slave. And you might as well not even be listening to my shit, more or less commenting on it, unless you want to call yourself out. Because look, guys, this is all about aligning our thoughts, our words, and our actions. We must behave and act in the way in which we think, and the way that we process things. We cannot think one way and behave another. We cannot say, oh yeah, the money is a bad thing, or these things are, yeah, we shouldn't, they're all part of the matrix. And then we're sitting there enjoying the breads and circuses and going out to eat and cooking our food and doing all these other things. We can't hold the two thoughts in our head at the same time. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot sit in this. You have to make a choice. Period. You have to make a choice, and you have to be disciplined, but you have to be easy on yourself. You can't abusively teach yourself these things, in a way that you were abused in when you were a child. But you have to be disciplined, and you have to be true and honest and real and authentic with yourself. You can't sugarcoat shit and be like, ooh. You have to be real. You have to be honest. Because otherwise you are just virtue signaling and thereby propagating and perpetuating the abuse in the matrix illusion. I hope this helped people. Leave your comments at the bottom. Like I said, this is you guys interacting and engaging with me. I'm not coming down on Valerie individually. Like, I'm not even thinking of Valerie while I'm speaking. I'm thinking of humanity as a whole. I'm thinking of myself. When I do these videos, I am thinking of talking to my old self and thinking of it helps me deprogram. It helps me reinforce what I know so that way I can start getting it out of my mouth and I can be accountable and I can fucking react accordingly and I can continue on this journey of detaching from all this shit and one day not have all this shit that doesn't mean anything. That is the journey. That is the true healing that brings the real change. Everything else is illusion, manipulation, confusion, and matrix programming. There it is. Take care of yourselves, guys. Nobody else will.